In the serene hills of Tuscany, where vineyards pattern the land and olive trees whisper ancient stories, we find Siena, a city that encapsulates the soul of medieval Italy. Our journey begins on the outskirts of the city, where ancient walls embrace centuries of history. We cross the Porta Camollia, the traditional northern entrance to Siena. Passing through this archway, we immerse ourselves in a world that has withstood the test of time. Narrow, cobblestone streets wind between brick and stone buildings, each with its own narrative, whispers of a glorious past. As we move forward, the street widens into the majestic Via di Città. The facades of the buildings here are adorned with banners and coats of arms, reminders of the ancient families that once competed for power in Siena. The shop windows sparkle with local crafts, from hand-painted ceramics to fine linen fabrics. We arrive at Piazza del Campo, the beating heart of Siena. This square, famous for its shell shape and gentle slope, is the stage for the Palio, the historic horse race that electrifies the city twice a year. The Palio, a tradition that beats in the heart of the city. This event, more than just a horse race, is an expression of Sienese pride and culture dating back centuries. The Palio di Siena, known simply as Il Palio, is an equestrian competition held twice a year, on July 2nd and August 16th. Its origins trace back to the Middle Ages, with the first races taking place in the 13th century. Initially, these competitions included games and feats of skill, which over time focused exclusively on horse racing. The Palio is no ordinary race. It is a fierce competition among the city's 17 contrade, or districts, each with its own colors and emblems. These districts are more than just geographical divisions. They are communities with their own identities, rivalries, and stories. The race is an opportunity for each contrada to demonstrate its bravery and honor. Piazza del Campo transforms for the occasion, covered with a layer of earth and surrounded by barriers and stands for spectators. The race itself is dizzying and dangerous, with riders mounting bareback in an attempt to complete 3 laps of the square at full speed. The prize for the winning contrada is a palio, a decorated silk cloth. But more than the physical prize, what is at stake is honor and pride. The palio is also a spectacle of color and passion. Before the race, the city is decked out with flags and decorations of the contrade. There are parades in historical costumes, and the streets resonate with the chants and applause of citizens and visitors. Each contrada carries out rituals and celebrations, culminating in the tension and excitement of the race itself. This tradition is not just a tourist event. It is a fundamental part of Siena's identity. Throughout the centuries, the Palio has withstood wars, plagues, and social changes, remaining a thread in the city's history. Each race is a new chapter in a long saga, woven with pride, passion, and the spirit of the Sienese community. Witnessing the Palio, or walking through Piazza del Campo on a quiet day, one can feel the energy and history that permeate the place. The Palio is not just a race. It is a ritual, a celebration, and an affirmation of life and tradition in the heart of Siena. In the square, under the warm afternoon sun, visitors and locals gather, chatting and enjoying the beauty surrounding them. The Palazzo Pubblico, with its Mangia Tower, stands imposing, a symbol of the power and art of the ancient Republic of Siena. We continue to Siena's cathedral, a triumph of Italian Gothic style. Its facade, a masterpiece of white, green, and red marble, shines under the blue sky. We enter and find ourselves in a world of wonders. The marble floors are intricately carved with biblical scenes and mythological figures, and the stained glass windows cast celestial colors throughout the interior. The Cathedral of Santa Maria Assunta, an emblematic monument encapsulating the city's spiritual and artistic wealth. This majestic temple, known as the Duomo di Siena, is a jewel of Italian Gothic art and a testament to faith and human creativity. Construction of the cathedral began in the 13th century, around 1215, although the structure we see today is the result of various phases of construction and modifications that extended into the 14th century. The original design is attributed to Giovanni Pisano, a renowned architect and sculptor whose influence is reflected in the facade and interior of the cathedral. One of the most fascinating features of the Duomo of Siena is its facade, a masterpiece of Italian Gothic, adorned with mosaics, sculptures, and intricate marble work in white, green, and red. The facade is a visual representation of Siena's wealth and power during the Middle Ages. Inside, the cathedral houses an impressive collection of art. One of the highlights is the marble floor, which includes 56 intricately carved panels depicting biblical stories, allegories, and symbols. This floor is so precious that it is only fully unveiled during certain periods of the year to protect it from wear. The Piccolomini altar, designed by the famous Renaissance sculptor Michelangelo, is another gem of the Duomo. This altar, housing 4 statues by Michelangelo, reflects the transition from Gothic to Renaissance art. Additionally, the Piccolomini Library, annexed to the cathedral, is famed for its vibrant frescoes and ancient manuscripts. An interesting anecdote about the cathedral is the ambitious expansion project that began in the 14th century. Siena planned to build the largest cathedral in Christendom, a project that would have doubled the size of the Duomo. However, the arrival of the Black Plague in 1348 and economic difficulties halted the construction, leaving the new nave incomplete. Today, these unfinished remains can be seen and offer a fascinating view of what might have been. The Duomo of Siena is not just a place of worship. It is a living museum that tells the story of the city and its inhabitants. Each chapel, each sculpture, and each fresco speaks of a past where faith, art, and community intertwined. The cathedral has witnessed countless historical events and continues to be a central place in Siena's life. Walking through Siena's cathedral is like walking through the pages of a history book. Visitors are immersed in an atmosphere of beauty and spirituality, a journey that spans from Gothic fervor to Renaissance splendor. The Cathedral of Siena is not just a monument. It is a symbol of the cultural and spiritual legacy that continues to inspire generations. After visiting the cathedral, we veer off into less traveled streets. At each corner, hidden small squares and secret gardens offer a tranquil refuge. The voices of the city fade away, and only the sound of our steps on the stones accompanies us. These forgotten corners of Siena are time capsules, places where one can sit and reflect, or simply enjoy the silence. As day turns to night, we head towards one of the city's ancient osterias. In these traditional establishments, time seems to have stopped. Surrounded by wine barrels and walls adorned with photographs and memories of the past, we taste typical Sienese dishes, each bite a fusion of history and flavor. Night in Siena is magical. Soft lights illuminate the streets and squares, creating a warm and welcoming atmosphere. Street musicians play melodies that resonate off the ancient walls, and laughter and conversations fill the air. It is a time to enjoy the company, to share stories, and to create memories. Our walk through Siena has taken us through a labyrinth of beauty and history. From its imposing monuments to its most intimate corners, Siena is a city that lives and breathes its past, offering each visitor a window into medieval life. At the end of the Middle Ages, Siena, a city already steeped in history and tradition, entered the Renaissance, a period that would deeply mark its character and legacy. During the Renaissance, Siena became an important cultural and artistic center, rivaling even cities like Florence in terms of influence and creativity. In this era, Siena was a city of wealth and sophistication. Sienese bankers and merchants, with their connections throughout Europe, brought prosperity and a new spirit of patronage. This economic flourishing allowed noble families and the church to sponsor artists and architects, leading to an explosion of art and architecture that we can still admire today. The Renaissance in Siena was characterized by a unique style, different from that of Florence or Rome. Sienese artists, such as Duccio di Buoninsegna and the Lorenzetti brothers, were pioneers in the use of vivid colors and emotive representations, adding a dimension of humanity and realism to their works. The Cathedral of Siena and the Palazzo Pubblico are testimonies to this golden age, with frescoes and sculptures representing both religious scenes and the daily life and politics of the time. Imagining life in Renaissance Siena is to evoke a world where art and politics went hand in hand. Piazza del Campo was the city's nerve center, a meeting place for citizens who discussed art, commerce, and the latest news. The streets were bustling with activity, with markets full of local products and artisans showcasing their skills in open workshops. The noble families of Siena, in their eagerness to demonstrate their prestige and devotion, competed to build more grandiose palaces and more ornate chapels. This patronage was not just a display of wealth, but also a way to gain political and social influence. Through their commissions, the Sienese families played a crucial role in the development of Renaissance art. Education also flourished in Siena during the Renaissance. The foundation of the University of Siena in 1240 had already established the city as a center of learning, and this tradition continued during the Renaissance. The university attracted students and scholars from all over Italy, turning the city into a melting pot of ideas and debates. The Renaissance in Siena was not without conflicts and challenges. Rivalries among noble families and conflicts with neighboring cities, especially Florence, often led the city into situations of political tension. However, even in these difficult times, art and culture continued to flourish, serving as a reminder of Siena's indomitable spirit. Today, as you walk through the streets of Siena, you can feel the presence of this glorious era. The Renaissance palaces and artworks that adorn the city are windows into a past where beauty, power, and creativity intertwined, creating a legacy that has survived the centuries. Renaissance. Siena was a place of artistic splendor and vibrant urban life, a bright chapter in the rich history of this fascinating Tuscan city. As we move away from the city lights, we carry with us not only images and sounds, but also the feeling of having touched something eternal. Siena, with its timeless charm, invites us back to discover more of its secrets, to get lost once again in its history-filled streets. This city is not just a destination. It is an experience, a journey through time and the heart of Tuscany.